Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me, before I start my remarks, allow me first to give you a brief context to our country, United Arab Emirates, to help to set the scene for our discussion. The U.A.E. was founded during a time when we had no education, healthcare, no basic infrastructure or services, and where the mortality rate was around 55 years of age and illiteracy over 90%. Most critics did not believe a country could be developed in such conditions, in what was in fact a harsh desert environment. Now, all this was not that long ago. It was in fact only 42 years ago. The unique and rapid development success of my country was, of course, helped by oil wealth. But many countries have oil and have not reached even close to our levels of development and to our living standards and quality of life. It was never just the oil, it was the visionary leadership and the prioritizing of human development and the willingness to open up the country. The development story would require a whole other conference and discussion, but is relevant to this summit or this conference here is that my country's historical openness and tolerance led its economic development. This is, of course, was the beginning of what today is one of the most diverse societies in the world, with over 200 different nationalities living in a peaceful and stable society. After giving you this brief context of my country, I want to give you just 2 points of what makes me personally the most proud of the U.A.E. as a successful model of interfaith relations. Firstly, we believe in pluralism and diversity, because this is ingrained in our religion not only through the verse in the Quran that Sheikh Nayan just referred to, but we believe that this is evidenced in all examples of creations of God. We believe that pluralism and diversity enriches society and are essential to socio-economic development, stability, and prosperity. The pluralism we practice in the U.A.E. allows our country to be a safe haven for people from all over the world, a safe haven for coexistence and peace, to live with the other who is different to you in religion, identity, and culture, to live with the other as a neighbor, as a colleague, a partner, even as a friend. A small example of this is the U.A.E.'s continued efforts and support in promoting the arts and cultures of the world, whether through its world-class museums like the Louvre and Guggenheim, or its regular cultural events and exhibits that showcases various cultures and highlight the beauty in all of them. Secondly, we encourage and facilitate dialogue. Dialogue, as it is understood by the U.A.E., begins by respecting the beliefs of others and by strengthening the religious foundations for coexistence within one nation. Dialogue begins with the mutual respect among people of faith, and that mutual respect means that no one harms the sanctity of religious texts, rituals, places, and most importantly, the sanctity of one's beliefs. The dialogue we refer to is a social and constructive one that discusses the mutual social concerns and solutions and promotes our commonalities. We prefer useful and productive dialogue over an ideological dialogue that attempts to promote one ideology over the other. To give you just an example of our country's actions in religious tolerance, allow me to tell you about a conversation I had when I met the mayor of Geneva a few years ago in Abu Dhabi. The mayor was happy announcing to me that his political party had lobbied and finally got approved to allow Swiss Muslims to bury their dead in an area of land that they had bought. I was very much surprised, as I had always seen Switzerland. Hopefully somebody from Switzerland is here. I had always seen Switzerland as so progressive and modern, and was shocked about how such a basic right could have taken so long to win. I then explained to him that we in the U.A.E., since before the birth of our nation, have not only allowed other religions and faith to bury their dead as per their rituals, even cremations in the case of Hindu rituals, but the government also grant them land for burial purposes and land to build their churches and temples, and guaranteed freedom to exercise religious worship. And I think now we are going to hear from our colleague here their experience in Emirates, and they are representing leaders of their faith in our country. I would like to mention just one story of our nation's founding father, the late Sheikh Zayed, that Sheikh Nahyan has just referred to, with reference to his virtues being exemplified in our country's action. During the Bosnian War in the 90s, when the U.A.E. was providing humanitarian assistance and specifically providing medical aid to the wounded through the Swiss Red Cross, one of Sheikh Zayed's advisors voiced concern that some of the medical aid may fall in the hands of the Serbs, who at that time were fighting the Muslims in Serbia, in Bosnia. Sheikh Zayed calmly responded that we provide medical assistance to all wounded and to whoever needs it, no matter what side they are on, as they are all living souls. This action and thinking is a reflection of how our country has always provided humanitarian assistance to developing countries, no matter their religion, especially in Africa. I have a comment to make on the constant and very present issue of extremism and tourism in our part of the world. This is being painted in some media as exclusive to Islam and sometimes to Arabs. The reality is that there is terrorism everywhere, historically and today. Whether we want to go back in history and talk about the Crusades, or we look at today's Buddhist terrorism against the Muslims minority in Myanmar, or we want to talk about Catholic terrorism blowing up buildings during the IRA's time in London, or we want to talk about Boko Haram in Nigeria, killing and kidnapping innocent people, especially girls. And of course, the constant threat of ISIS, well, we call it Daesh. What is more important for us to talk about and essential for us to remember is that there is no religion that promotes or produces terrorism. It is essential for us to understand that the actions of an evil few who are manipulating religions to suit their political and economic interest is not a reflection of the human values and principles of the world's religions. The action of a few don't reflect the religion they claim to be fighting for. And the politicizing of the religion is nothing but abuse of that religion. As a closing comment, I would like to stress that the U.A.E. believes that the way forward is through education, interfaith dialogue, and cooperation that allows us to go back to the true essence of values behind all great religions, like the conversation we have here that connect us and remind us of our shared humanity. Thank you for the opportunity of sharing our country's experience with you all and for continuing this important dialogue. May God bless you all of us and show us the right way. Thank you very much.